Hi, everyone. My name is Andrea Brooks. I'm the president of Country Travel Discoveries. Thank you so much for joining us today as we go through our Country Travel Discoveries travel show. We're going to tell you a little bit about Country Travel Discoveries if you haven't traveled with us before. And also, you're going to get to hear from me and our marketing manager, Grace, as we share about some of our 2025 and 2026 tour offerings. So without further ado, let's dive right in. As I mentioned again, I'm Andrea. I'm the president of Country Travel. This is me on top of the Mount Washington Summit in New Hampshire. And on the right is Grace Skenzel. She is our marketing manager at Country Travel. And this is her in Kukenhof as she visited Holland last year. So we both love travel. It's not just our jobs. We genuinely have a passion for it and a passion for really sharing travel with our guests as well and making sure they just have a really wonderful time on tour. So again, you'll hear from both of us today as we share again just a little bit about country travel and also for some of our tour offerings coming up later this year and into 2026. So a little bit about Country Travel Discoveries. We were launched in 2012 and we handcraft the most unique and off the beaten path itineraries on the market, bar none. So we go out, and what really makes us special is that we don't just plan our trips behind a computer, which really helps us find those really unique stops that you can't find anywhere else. So this is our team, or at least some of them, as they're out traveling to destinations, finding those hidden gems for our folks, and just experiencing what the world has to offer. So that way, when our travelers go on tour, they know that we've handled and seen and experienced a lot of those details for them. I mentioned some of those unique experiences that we build for our travelers. One of those is last year when we did a tour to Ireland for our Irish celebration for St. Patrick's Day. When we were planning the tour, we decided, okay, Dublin gets a little bit crazy during St. Patrick's Day. So how about we have our travelers experience it in a smaller town? So we contacted the mayor of Killarney, which is a small town in Ireland, and we said, we'd love for our travelers to come to experience St. Patrick's Day in Killarney. Can you suggest anything for us? Is there anything really unique we can do? And the mayor said, I would love to meet with your groups. I think this is so fun that they want to come. I'm going to bring some locals and we're going to tell you all about Killarney and the history, and you can meet me. And also, how about your travelers walk with the locals in the St. Patrick's Day parade here in Killarney, which was a fabulous opportunity for our folks. We really loved seeing photos and videos and just how many memories were being made during that day for our travelers. And again, that's just kind of one experience that we've offered for our travelers that, again, you cannot find anywhere else. We love offering unique, memorable experiences just like that. We're not afraid of the answer no. We'll ask a question, we'll reach out to contacts, and just see what we can make happen for our travelers. Now, something else about Country Travel Discoveries I wanted to share. If you haven't traveled with us before, we were rated one of the most personal group, or excuse me, the most personal group tour operator of 2024 by the industry. And we're so grateful for that. So much kudos to our team because we know our travelers personally. When you call us, you're not just a name and a number. You actually just genuinely matter to us, and we want to make sure you have a wonderful experience when you're picking out your vacation and when you're traveling on vacation with CTD. So we're honored to be named again the most personal group tour operator of 2024 and look forward to continuing that personal tradition that we have as a brand. Now, I wanted to mention, if you're flying to tour on maybe a domestic tour, maybe you're looking at New England Rails and Resorts, that tour starts and ends in Boston. So you're welcome to get airfare, maybe with your preferred airline or maybe you have points to use. You can do that and get to Boston, no problem, and we'll start the tour from there. Or if you'd like us to, we can help with getting you airfare to the starting location. So you can just give us a call when you book your tour, say, hey, can you guys also book my airfare? And we'd be happy to do that. Our team really scours the web for the best price, your preferred airport, your preferred flight times, your preferred amount of connections, and we'll get you the best price and the best flight to get you to your starting location of your domestic tour. And now, if you're booking an international tour with us, airfare is included. And typically, our airport is Chicago O'Hare, though it depends on the tour. So just call us and we'll kind of talk you through that. But if you're looking to book our maybe England and Scotland tour, we'll start in Chicago. So your tour director will meet you at the gate in Chicago O'Hare. We'll fly over as a group, experience a tour, and then you'll fly back with the group. Your tour director will be with you that whole way, airport to airport in Chicago. So again, just give us a call. We're happy to talk through if you'd like to get airfare to a starting location. One more thing I wanted to mention about Country Travel Discoveries is that our people genuinely are the salt of the earth. They're so kind, they're so warm, they're so friendly, and that is a reputation that we've built, frankly, throughout the industry. I just had a hotel manager call me last week, and they said, your group that came to visit us, they're so nice and so lovely. We would love to do business with you again. And again, our reputation from you, our travelers, is just so high. So thank you for that. We are really intentional about starting our tours off right and making sure our groups get to know each other right away, because while you might not know everybody on the group right away, you'll end as good friends, you'll end maybe even as family. We love bringing our groups together. Another note about our travelers is that 98% of our travelers say that they would tour with us again. And the remaining 2% is often due to retiring from travel. So that 98% is really unprecedented in the industry. We're so grateful for that. A big kudos to our tour planning team, our reservations team, our marketing team. They make Country Travel Discoveries incredibly special. And also a big thank you to our travelers as well. Now, let's kick things off. We have some really wonderful tours in 2025 and 2026. Again, that Grace and I are really looking forward to talking about. So that first trip that I want to just dive right into is South America and Antarctica. So this trip is 27 days. It includes 72 meals. The price that you'll see there also includes round-trip airfare from the United States. So this is a bucket list vacation. This is a huge trip in so many ways, and we've heard from travelers a lot that they want to go to South America, and while they're down there, why not? Let's do Antarctica as well. So we're going to be, again, exploring that in the very beginning of 2026. Now, I'll introduce you to your tour directors. This is Dan and Lisa Hardesty. They've been tour directors for quite a long time now and are experienced in this fully. They absolutely cannot wait to experience South America with you as our travelers. In particular, I was talking to them the other day. They're really looking forward to the penguin colonies of the Falkland Islands. So that is one of those bucket list things that they'll check off with you. And again, I can't speak highly enough about the tour, but also your tour directors on this trip. So Dan and Lisa Hardesty are just personal friends of mine. They're warm, they're friendly, they're kind. They're just so witty. I can't speak highly enough about them, and they'll be with you the entire 27 days from start to finish. Now, I also want to share the map for this trip because I know it's a big tour. I mean, 72 meals included, 27 days, that's a big trip. So hopefully the map kind of gives a little bit of visual representation of what you're going to experience on this tour. We're going to go to 3 countries, Argentina, Chile, and Uruguay, and then we'll also sail through the Falkland Islands, and then, of course, get down to Antarctica and sail through Antarctica to, well, we keep calling it the Crystal Edge. We feel like that's a really cool marketing phrase, but we'll see the Crystal Edge of Antarctica. We're going to go through, weave in and out some of the islands down there. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. So we'll sail on the cruise portion of this trip. We're going to sail aboard the Oosterdam, which is a Holland America Line ship. And our team has specifically been on the Oosterdam. We have also been on other Holland America ships as well. That's our preferred partner. They have elegance and class and amazing dining options. And they also have really experienced staff as well that can kind of speak to some of the things that we're seeing, of course, on the ship. So for this tour, there's so many highlights in the 27 days to talk about, but some of them are the waterfalls of Chile. They're stunning, absolutely beautiful. I spoke earlier to sailing through Antarctica. There's just really no adjectives to describe how amazing that's going to be. And then the penguins in the Falkland Islands, we'll say Buenos Aires, and a lot of different cities in South America. And then also a special experience that we have in Argentina is a tango dinner. So our travelers will be able to learn to tango, and hopefully you'll get as good as this picture is. I mean, look at these folks, they seem to know what they're doing. So our travelers will learn from the best and hopefully come home with some tango dance moves. Now, moving on to another tour. This is Best of New York State. Excuse me. And this trip is a wonderful time to see fall foliage in New York. So as you can see, we have 2 different dates, a September and an October tour. And this is a wonderful time to experience all that the state of New York has to offer. Now I'll introduce you to our tour planner. Our tour planner, Molly McLeod, is lovely, and our tour planners are all so photogenic. So when I was looking at photos of Molly to put one in here, I thought I'm just going to put 3 in because they're all great. And Molly is also extremely well traveled. So on the left, this is her walking a glacier in Iceland, and then in the middle, this is her, can't remember off the top of my head, but somewhere in Asia. And then on the right, this is her in Jordan. So Molly is extremely well traveled. Like I said, she lived in Madrid for 2 years and just a wonderful tour planner. And she has a lot featured for you on this Best of New York State tour. Some of the highlights. So we're going to be doing the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. We're going to be eating a meal at the Culinary Institute of America, which is going to be fabulous. We'll do a lake cruise in the Adirondack Mountains, and we'll also tour West Point Military Academy. Some other highlights, I personally have a bucket list to see all of the presidential libraries in the United States. And so on this tour, if you're like me and you want to cross off some of a presidential library, we'll see the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Presidential Library. And then also, it wouldn't be a tour to New York State without doing New York City. So we're going to do New York City right. We're going to be doing 2 nights in the Upper West Side at the Hotel Beacon, which I can't speak highly enough about. It's in a very residential area of New York City, extremely safe, and you're just, golly, maybe 2-3 blocks from Central Park. So you can walk there, you can enjoy Fairway Market across the street. It's, again, residential and not very touristy, which is just a nice way to see New York. You're in a very local area, and yeah, kind of get a viewpoint of how the locals live. When we're in New York, we're also going to be doing the 9/11 Museum. We're going to do a Broadway show. We're going to do a tour through, some of the highlights in the city, St. Patrick's Cathedral being one of them, Lincoln Center, we'll see Fifth Avenue, etc. And then I mentioned this at the top, but I just want to say this one more time. These dates for Best of New York State are the perfect time to see New York's fall foliage. So this is the campus of the Culinary Institute of America. It's right on the Hudson. We'll see this personally again as we enjoy a meal at the Culinary Institute, and you'll have a chance to see some of that fall foliage there. Now, the next tour to talk about is the tour that I cannot stop talking about, and that is Regal Retreats of Europe. This tour is hands down one of the most unique tours that I've seen in a long time, and I can't believe that we get to offer it to our travelers. This tour is going to include overnight stays at castle hotels in Europe. So I'll show you some of those. This is Galicia Nueva, which is in, I believe it's in Slovakia. It is stunning. I mean, look at this. This is going to be an overnight for you at a castle hotel, and I can't wait for our travelers to experience just the inside and how elegant and regal this will be. So this is, again, Galicia Nueva. This is inside. This is one of the hotel rooms. It's stunning, and again, just to stay in these castle hotel properties is so unique. This is another overnight that we'll have at the Chateau Bila. Again, wonderful. A castle historic hotel, and the gardens are stunning. It's kind of it's in this remote area. It's in like a smaller village, and so you get kind of that personal small town feel here. If you look outside your hotel windows, you're just going to see rolling countryside. It's beautiful. This is inside of Chateau Bila as well. I can't speak highly enough about this property and some of the other ones that we're going to see, including the Grand Hotel Kempinski in High Tatras. So this is in Slovakia. The Grand Hotel Kempinski is rated consistently one of the best hotels in the entire world, and our travelers will get to stay there. In particular, the Grand Hotel Kempinski, they won 3 awards in 2024 from the World Travel Awards, and man, I mean, just luxury, elegance, and opulence all the way here. So we'll spend a full day here. So we'll arrive one evening. You'll, of course, enjoy that evening, and so the nice overnight. And then the next day, you'll have the morning through really the afternoon, maybe even late afternoon, to enjoy this property as you should for a relaxed pace. So you can enjoy the amenities of the spa. You can also enjoy the pool, which, look at this pool with chandeliers over it, is amazing. And then right outside your door, literally right outside these windows, is High Tatras National Park. You're actually situated in the park when you're staying at this hotel. So during that morning and afternoon, you can enjoy, again, the pool, the amenities. You can just sit up and curl and up and read a book. But you can also walk through Slovakia's oldest national park, which is High Tatras. So you can do a leisurely walk, you can do an intense hike, whatever you'd like to do that morning and afternoon is yours to enjoy. Then in the later afternoon, probably around 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock, we're going to get together as a group to kind of talk about what we enjoyed that day, and then also have some traditional tea, coffee, cakes, and yeah, just again, soak up one of the best properties in the world. Now, again, this is a tour that I can't stop talking about because it's so unique, but we're going to do a lot. So I mentioned High Tatras National Park, Bratislava. We will tour through Bratislava. We will also visit Krakow. So Krakow, Poland has been a request from our travelers for a while now. They've wanted to see that, and so we will stay in Krakow and also tour through the city. We'll do Vienna, Austria, and then I also wanted to mention that when we're at the Chateau Bila Castle Hotel, we'll do wine tasting there. And the Chateau Bila wines, they're some of the most popular in the region and throughout the world. So their wine is served in some of the best restaurants in New York, London, Tokyo, Paris, and we will get to enjoy a tasting. If you enjoy the tasting enough, I will say you can also take some wine to go. So they have bottles that range from €20 to 20,000 euros. So you can pick, but we'll have a tasting there and just get to soak it up and enjoy. Now, the last thing to mention on this tour is that we have an optional excursion to Auschwitz if you'd like to participate in that. And at CTD, you know, we do not shy away from history. It was our plan from the very beginning to include this in the itinerary. We know that it's not an easy day, and it will definitely challenge. It will challenge you, but we feel like this will change you for the better, and that's not an overstatement. You know, when we get to see history up close and personal, in person, we feel like reflecting on that makes us better people. And so therefore, when we go to Auschwitz, of course, it will be a somber optional excursion, but we know that going through that history is important to just remembering what happened there. So again, that's an optional excursion, and hopefully you can join us for our Regal retreats. And the next tour to share is Grand Michigan. Grand Michigan is a personal favorite of mine. I love Mackinac Island. I've been there almost every year of my life, and I have eaten fudge there almost every year of my life, but there's just nothing better than staying at the Grand Hotel, which is really one of the highlights of this tour. So our tour director for these 2 departures that you see, one in June and one in September, will be Sue Blazing. She's been with us for quite a long time now, and this is consistently one of her favorite tours to lead. So hopefully you can join her on Grand Michigan. Like I said, Mackinac Island is a highlight on this tour, but there's so much else to mention. We'll do Indiana Sand Dunes National Park. We'll do a buggy ride there. So you can kind of see in the bottom right here, there's a photo of our buggies as we kind of traverse along, and then even go up to the shoreline here in Lake Michigan. And then also we'll ride the ferry on the SS Badger. across Lake Michigan, which is so cool. We'll literally roll our coach right up and onto the SS Badger, and folks can get off and play bingo and enjoy and just kind of see that firsthand. And then also Mackinac Island. I mean, Mackinac Island is so cool. There's no cars on the island. If you've never been there, it's genuinely like stepping back in time. So we'll have fudge. That's mandatory. Mandatory for me. You have to get fudge, and we'll just enjoy the horse-drawn carriage ride and all of the history that Mackinac Island has to offer. Now, speaking of history, I wanted to show you what Mackinac Island looked like in the 1940s. So this video I found on YouTube, and I wanted to share it with you. Again, this is Mackinac Island from the 40s. I'll tell you kind of a short story on how I came across this. So my husband and I, we love the television show MASH, and that's one of my favorite shows. And we get through all the seasons, and we realized this was just a few weeks ago, we didn't have the last episode. And so all that to say, we went to YouTube and we searched last episode of MASH, and we found it. This gentleman had uploaded it to YouTube, so we watched it, of course. And then after that, we started running through all of the videos that this gentleman had uploaded to his YouTube channel and the personal vacations of his family. I mean, look at this video. This is, again, from the 1940s. This is his own family's video of what it was like to actually vacation on Mackinac Island during that time. And it's interesting because it looks almost identical as it does now. And so this is a piece of Americana. The Mackinac Island Hotel is iconic, and we're really looking forward to having travelers experience this firsthand. Just one more slide from me on this tour. These are some of our travelers who experienced the trip last year. I mentioned, again, the Grand Hotel is such a big highlight, but these are our travelers pictured in front of Lake Michigan. And then also on the top left corner, this is them enjoying, it looks like maybe some water or a glass of wine on the very famous Mackinac Island, I guess the Mackinac Island Hotel porch. So hopefully you can join us for this tour. Again, it's such a well-loved tour from our travelers, and our tour director, Sue, is just looking forward to hosting you. Now, next is another tour, but I'm going to pass the baton over to Grace, our marketing manager. She's going to get to talk to you about a few departures that we have coming up.
Hi everyone, I'm Grace, and I'm excited to share a little bit with you about our Marvels of the Rockies tour. So this tour is going to take you through the American West as we journey through Utah, Wyoming, and Colorado, and you're going to have the Rocky Mountains as your constant backdrop throughout this tour. So this tour just offers the most stunning landscapes and rich historical experiences. Now, if you've ever called CTD, you've probably spoken to Matt before. Matt is our reservations coordinator, and he's actually going to be joining the group on the Marvels of the Rockies tour. Matt said something he is most looking forward to on this tour is visiting the Dinosaur National Monument. He can't stop talking about it. He said that this is an experience that he's wanted to check off the bucket list for a long time now. So he's excited to do that alongside CTD travelers on Marvels of the Rockies. Now, at the Dinosaur National Monument, we will explore the land of the dinosaurs, and we're going to see their fossils, which are still embedded in the rocks here. This is also rumored to be the next national park, so keep an eye out on that. Some other highlights will include the Buffalo Bill Museum, a walking tour of Salt Lake City, where we're going to see Temple Square, which you can see the photo in the middle. It's a beautiful church, and it's considered one of the most visited attractions in Utah. Of course, we'll also be visiting Rocky Mountain National Park, which consists of 415 square miles of just rugged mountains, beautiful lakes, and untouched forest. Now, another tour that I'm going to talk about is Bar Harbor and the Canadian Maritime Provinces. So Bar Harbor is a charming coastal town in Mount Desert Island, and it's nestled along Maine's Frenchman Bay. You're going to be surrounded by the mountains and cliffs of Acadia National Park, and this tour is going to also take us beyond Maine to some of the Canadian provinces. We're going to be going to Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island. Now, this is Ann Kaiser. She's going to be tour directing on this departure, and Ann is just so pleasant and so knowledgeable, and I think all of our travelers are going to agree with me on that. Anne is one of our go-to directors on Canadian adventures. So last year she led Around Lake Ontario and New England and Canada cruise. So Anne is the right woman for the job. She's going to be right in her element leading this tour. I actually spoke with Anne just the other day, and she said that she's most looking forward to experiencing Acadia National Park. Some other special highlights on this tour are going to be a guided tour of Acadia National Park. So Anne's going to be looking forward to that. A ferry ride to Prince Edward Island, exploring Hopewell Rock Park, and seeing the iconic lighthouses of Peggy's Cove. Of course, we're also going to be spending a day exploring the charming Bar Harbor. Now, another amazing stop that I wanted to highlight on this tour is going to be the Anne of Green Gables Museum. This museum is dedicated to the works of the author Lucy Maud Montgomery. She wrote all of the Anne of Green Gables books, and we'll have the chance to see many of the artifacts that were featured in these books, including Anne's enchanted bookcase, and also just look at this stunning scenery surrounding the museum. Now, one of my favorite tours is Hawaii, Aloha to Paradise, because who wouldn't want to go to Hawaii? This tour is going to take you through Oahu, the Big Island, and Maui, and it includes a perfect blend of hidden gems and those popular tourist destinations that you just wouldn't want to miss while going to Hawaii. So we're going to have the chance to wander the halls of Ohlone Palace, and this is actually the only royal palace in the United States. We'll also visit Pearl Harbor, National Memorial, and we'll see the most visited volcano in the world. We are also going to be able to experience a luau dinner, which is a Hawaiian tradition that just is not to be missed while visiting Hawaii. I think one of my favorite parts about this tour is that our tour planner actually lived in Hawaii for several years. So this tour features a lot of those local favorite spots that really shine through our itinerary. A lot of these spots are off the beaten path and other companies just aren't offering them. So one of my favorites is Kona Coffee. We actually keep Kona Coffee in our office, and we can confirm it is some of the best coffee on the market. Another really interesting stop is going to be Moala Farms. This is Mark. He's actually a personal friend of our tour director, and you'll have the opportunity of our tour planner, sorry. And you'll have the opportunity to learn the stories of this farm straight from Mark and his team, and just learn what they mean to the community and what they have to offer. Now I'm going to throw this back to Andrea so she can talk about one of her favorite tours.
Hi everyone. As Grace said, cannot wait to talk about hometown Ohio because I actually grew up in the Buckeye State. So I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, and I think this state has so much to offer that people don't realize. And we're really excited to offer an October departure of 2025 to showcase some of the uniqueness of the state. So first up for us will be the American Sign Museum in Cincinnati. There's so much here to look at. They're opening privately just for our group, and we'll get to tour through and see the very many years of neon sign history from Alex, our guide. So that's gonna be a really cool stop. Cuyahoga Valley National Park is going to be absolutely excellent. I mean, so beautiful. This is Brandywine Falls, and we'll just have time to enjoy the park. And also, if you want to get a stamp for your passport, I know a lot of people have the national park passports where they get to stamp every national park that they've been to. We'll have time to do that as well. Another stop opening exclusively for us is the McKinley Presidential Library and Museum. I had mentioned earlier, it's one of my personal bucket lists to see all of the presidential libraries. So we'll go here, we'll see not only the monument, but also, of course, the museum. And then we'll have a private lunch here in the library. So very cool. Mills Park Hotel in the top right. We're going to see some amazing properties on this tour that you'll get to enjoy some overnights in. And one of those is Mills Park in downtown Yellow Springs, Ohio. So Yellow Springs, Ohio is this kind of quirky, youthful, very artsy town. And you might know it because Dave Chappelle not only grew up there, but he currently lives there. So who knows? Maybe we'll see Dave Chappelle on this tour. But Mills Park Hotel is just a wonderful property, and will be kind of right in the middle of the downtown artsy area. Now, the Ohio State Reformatory was a must for me when we were building this tour. This is the filming location of Shawshank Redemption. And if you have seen that movie, you know it's one of the highest rated, best movies of all time. And so a lot of people don't know that it was filmed in Ohio. We'll see the Ohio State Reformatory during a tour there, and you'll see like the warden's office and Andy's cell block, and maybe even take a look at where he chiseled himself out. Now, we're going to be doing some other things on this tour. In the middle here, this is my good friend, Jerry. He's genuinely so delightful. Love Jerry. We here are pictured at the Anthony Thomas Chocolate Factory. We got to tour the facility. We'll get to tour the facility again in October, and you'll see how they make their chocolate and peanut butter Buckeyes, including a tasting. So we'll have a tasting there. And as you can see, the Buckeyes are really that good. Jerry is so warm-hearted. He's so kind. He, as you can see, bought lots of boxes to take home for his family and friends, which I thought was really sweet. It's no pun intended, but the chocolate peanut butter Buckeyes are very, very good. And again, just to see how they're made is very unique. Another thing I wanted to focus on is this is on the bottom right, a photo of Mott's Military Museum. And I've been very blessed to see some of the best museums in the world, including the Louvre and the Met. But Mott's Military Museum in Groveport, Ohio is hands down my favorite museum ever. This museum has military artifacts from almost every war, and Warren will personally guide us around and show us everything. When I say everything, I mean everything, because Warren knows every single artifact in his museum. He knows the story. He knows what happened. He knows, how they got it, everything. And so again, Warren will tour us around, and we'll see some of the coolest things, including a Higgins boat from World War II. Now, again, this picture in the bottom right corner, this is his warehouse on property. And right now he is storing 9/11 memorabilia in this warehouse, in preparation for him building a wing of his museum dedicated to 9/11. So right now, Warren is actually the second largest curator of 9/11 memorabilia in the United States, behind New York. And he just has some amazing pieces of history from that event. So this photo here with the fire truck, this fire truck that we're getting a sneak peek up close and personal to before, again, this 9/11 wing is even built. When we see this fire truck, it was crushed in the collapse of the 9/11 towers. So this was actually originally government property, and they were going to discard it. And so when Warren got wind of that, he said, absolutely not. This is a piece of history. We need to remember this history and teach our younger generations about this day. And so he drove I almost said New York. He drove to DC, saved this, and realized they had warehouses and warehouses and warehouses of 9/11 memorabilia that they were going to discard, and so he took it all back home with him. He has the floor of one of the towers, so when he builds his new wing, you'll be able to walk on the actual floor of the Trade Center, and of course see this fire truck and so many other things that he's preserved through his organization. So couldn't be prouder of what Warren's doing to preserve history. Again, we're going to not only tour through his museum, but also get a sneak peek at his warehouse. This is a photo of that Higgins boat I was talking about earlier. This is one of our tour groups from 2024, and some of their just delightful quotes that they have spoken to, just how wonderful the trip was. So again, this Higgins boat, you'll get up close and personal. Warren wants you to get up close and personal with history. So we'll not only, see it, touch it, feel it, but also be able to go up into a platform and look in. It's very cool. So I hope you get to join us and see Warren Mott and Mott's Military Museum. Now, the last tours to talk about before we end our travel show are the mystery tours. So we're offering a spring mystery tour this year and a summer mystery tour, but it's not too late to sign up. I know May seems somewhat close around the corner, but there's still time. This spring mystery tour, I can't tell you anything about it, of course, but it's so good. It's so good, and it's probably one of my favorite itineraries that we're featuring this year. So come book with us. You'll receive the tour starting location when you book the tour. So depending on where you find out it is, you can either fly or drive, depending on your proximity to it. And then the summer mystery tour, we've heard from a lot of local travelers in the Wisconsin area that they love a tour that departs out of our home city of Milwaukee. So we're doing just that. So if you live in the Midwest, maybe you live in Milwaukee, you live in Wisconsin, or heck, even if you don't, fly in, come join us. This tour again is a mystery trip that's going to depart from our home city of Milwaukee, and we cannot wait to take you on it. Now that concludes our travel show. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so fortunate to be able to talk about some of our 2025 and 2026 tours today with you. You can check all of our tours out, including ones we didn't feature today, at countrytraveldiscoveries.com. And yeah, take a look, give us a call. We're happy to answer any questions and hopefully get to travel with you in this year or next. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you at the next travel show.